Welcome to the fourth episode of AI Updates, the talk show about artificial intelligence for built environment professionals, brought to you by Finnish AI Region. My name is Teemu Lehtinen. I'm the CEO of Kira Hub, the innovation hub for the built environment sector here in Finland, and I'll be your host today. Today's episode is actually dedicated to startups and scale-ups, and we will have the latest news about AI in the built environment. Three amazing guests, Josip Zdrilić from Northern JC, Oskar Smeds from Ailene.ai, and Jussi Virnala from Metroc. Also, we will have the AI story, highlighted example from the field, and the question of the day selected from our audience and discussed with our guests in the end. And now, let's go to the news. All right, so let's start with the news. Big news from technology industries of Finland. They just announced a significant investment of 13 million euros to accelerate the utilization of AI in Finland. In the press release, they state that utilizing AI is crucial for the sustainable growth of the Finnish economy in general. And they definitely want to do their part to accelerate it. This donation will be used to support the recruitment of top experts for joint projects carried out by companies and universities, to fund companies' AI projects and associated master's theses too, and to establish a new business-driven AI network in Finland. Hopefully this investment will have an impact to the built environment sector as well. The social media has also continued to be active with AI-related posts lately. The AI in AEC influencer Stepan Mitjulik just posted on LinkedIn recently that he has created a AEC AI GPT to access all the tools and content from his AEC AI hub more easily. Go check it out to, for example, find out what is the best AI tool in AEC at the moment. Also, Autodesk announced Autodesk AI at their annual Autodesk University in Las Vegas. This is actually nothing new. Autodesk has invested in AI for years already, but with this announcement, they wanted to emphasize the role of AI within their overall product offering and the potential of automation, analysis, and augmentation by utilizing their tools. So with the announcement, they also published a study where 66% of leaders agree that during the next 2 to 3 years, AI will be essential for their business. Also, in the next 3 years, 77% of companies will increase or strongly increase investments in AI and other emerging technologies. So really interesting times ahead of us. With FAIR, Finnish AI Region news, FAIR is accelerating with their services and presence in different events, and has served already 70 companies in Finland this year. FAIR is one of the European digital innovation hubs aiming at accelerating AI adoption for small and medium-sized companies in health and built environment sectors. As part of FAIR, we are focusing on the built environment sector and providing the following services: AI for Built Environment open online course in Finnish and in English at the moment, AI Accelerator, a 3-month sprint where companies can join to plan and test an idea in practice, and also test bed and matchmaking activities. The next batch of companies will actually start the AI accelerator early next year. So if you're interested to join, please let us know.
Artificial intelligence drives the development of global societies, and Finland is at the heart of turning the theory into practice. Finnish AI Region Fair is a new European digital innovation hub that fast-forwards your AI abilities to the next decade. As part of an EU flagship initiative, Fair EDIH solves real-life business problems using both existing and novel AI. Focusing on digital services, smart cities, and health sector, Fair offers the services of 60 AI professors and their teams, access to Europe's fastest supercomputer Lumi, state-of-the-art test facilities, and world-class venture capital. Fair aims to be genuinely useful, bringing concepts to life. We help SMEs transform AI-empowered innovations into actual products and better internal processes. Through collaboration, we enable SMEs to take a leap in productivity and competitiveness, taking them to the forefront of utilization of AI in their field. Our services include needs analysis and road mapping, training, test before invest, matchmaking, support to find investments. With FAIR, you get access to a unique network of pioneering AI operators in Finland, from leading academic institutions and corporations to the 3 capital region cities, Helsinki, Vantaa, and Espoo. FAIR supports ethically sustainable and ecologically endurable choices, all through reliable, cutting-edge technological innovations. This allows us to make the societal impact we envision. Digital challenges. Together, we will overcome. With FAIR, you become the future.
All right. So our first guest is Josip Zdrilić from Northern JZ. Welcome, Josip.
Thank you, Timo, for the invite.
So, how did you end up in Finland and found a company developing an AI-based solution for construction?
That's an answer that has quite many elements to it. Prior to moving to Finland from Switzerland, there was one triggering event. My wife got a really good job opportunity in Finland, and combining that with the reputation that Finland has as a startup supporting system and a really good ecosystem in Helsinki and Espoo, for example, I was figuring out that that might be the right step to do, to come to Finland, bring the know-how here, and start with a new startup. The background from me, I'm a civil engineer. I worked over 10 years as a site manager, project manager, and one of the most impactful projects that I had was in Switzerland, in Basel, called Bau2. And on that project, I was able to develop and implement BI solutions that were able to help us with managing the progress and the quality on the overall project. And that was the moment where I found out, okay, there is more to it. The data that is laying around on the construction side is way more valuable than we think. And the information that we can build out of it can benefit the whole project teams.
That's super interesting and always good when you have your own experience about the pain points and really want to start solving that.
Yeah, it was always triggering to me as well to see that an industry that is a bit old-fashioned as well is always saying like it was always like this and there is no change to it, but it's possible. You can change it to the positive.
Yeah, we just need kind of more people around us to really have that same mindset.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough there. The investor was the pharmaceutical giant Hoffmann La Roche, and they had a project team with us that was supporting us tremendously and was giving us a platform to develop these tools in a team, of course, and test them and really use them on the project.
Super interesting. So tell me a little bit more about how you utilize AI in your solution now?
Yeah. So we have to take maybe a step back before we talk about the utilization of the AI. We have to talk about the data itself. We're focusing right now on the data input layer with the development of our MVP, where we want to be able to label and strategically really position ourselves on the construction project to get the valuable and high quality data so we can build upon that our AI. And we're going to have different sources. We're going to have sources that are connected to language. We're going to have sources that are more numeric or that are connected to predictions and to calculations. And we're going to have, of course, image sources that will give us as well other valuable inputs. But we want to build something that is going to go across the whole project through all the phases, through the planning, through the procurement, through the phase of building, through commissioning, and as well the key handover to the customer in the end, never mind what kind of project. And of course, giving the platform to all the users as well, never mind if it's the investor, if it's a foreman, if it's a site manager or project manager, planning person on the project, everybody has the ability to contribute, and the data is collected in one channeled spot.
Sounds promising. So you're now at the kind of MVP stage, minimum viable product. So what are your goals for the next 2 years?
So we want to be able to launch our MVP in Q1 2024, so next year. And with that, start a pilot project and gather data and really focus on the feedback from our users that will give us as well the, hey, this is good how we collect data, or maybe not, and iterate. We will focus on that for the 8 till 9 months to have a basis, a good basis with the data gathering, and upon that we will build our AI functionalities, which we predict would happen in Q3 2025. So almost in 1.5 years. It's quite a long process, depending on, of course, the resources that we might have. And later on, in the end of this, when we already start kicking in with the AI, we want to turn it over then to the next step and slowly enter into the metaverse with our solution.
There's few solutions already available regarding kind of the situational picture of the construction site, kind of having all kinds of data from 360 cameras or different sensors to one place, and then building kind of all kinds of features utilizing that. Have you kind of benchmarked those, and do you have an idea that how you want to be different?
We differentiate because we focus on the process
Yeah.
and on the learning, because we want to implement Six Sigma lean methodologies to the lean activities and give as well a learning process on the project. What the image processing is, it's really a cool thing, and then it's going to be part of all the future solutions, but it doesn't cover all the processes, because you have value adding processes on the construction site that you can't track with the camera, that are maybe for automotion, for testing, maybe it's a logistical part, and it's all man hours and resources and money that is involved. Planning. I didn't see in a planning office a drone flying around yet, so it's still quite a gap there, because the project does not start only with the execution and only with, hey, I'm building a wall, but planning, procurement, building, commissioning, and last phase. So that's what differentiates us. We follow all the processes basically.
Indeed. So almost feels like a gold rush with AI at the moment, with all the hype. Uh, but certainly, there's a lot of potential within the built environment sector, utilizing that. But as you said, we need to have the data in order
Yeah.
for that to be possible. Uh, how do you really see the future potential within our sector for AI? If we look at the next 10 years, 20 years?
The AI itself, I think, is developing in such a rapid pace that we are not even able to grasp it. But I focused on one thing in this whole story. we have the saying, the sky is the limit, right? I would rephrase it in this case. I would really say that the sky is not the limit, the user is. Because we really depend on the change management and the companies and on the projects that will be open to understand as well what kind of project management change it needs to implement AI and increase the overall productivity in the whole industry, basically. So the potential is great. The limits are visible, and because it's a bit of a provocative now statement that I'll give, it's really an old-fashioned industry. We're really stuck with some old habits that are difficult to get rid of. And if you look at it, an example, you have companies that today still talk about BIM as a new innovation that has to be implemented, but it's already quite old news, and you have to move on to the next step. So as much as there is this negative part of, hey, we're a bit back, the growth potential there and the area to improve is great. And maybe as well there's a tiny benefit because everybody's rushing all the industries into AI, and maybe the construction industry gives us a chance with this slow pace to develop it a bit more steadily and secure for the future in the industry.
Interesting. Thank you for coming as one of the guests today.
Thank you.
And we will continue with you in the end discussion.
Thanks.
All right, our second guest is Oskar Smeds from Ailene.ai. Welcome, Oskar.
Hello, thank you.
You have actually quite a long background in construction in different roles. Tell us about your journey so far.
Yeah, well, the long story short is back in when I was 20, I wasn't really sure what to study, so I decided that if I don't know what to do, then I go to study construction, and I worked maybe 5-7 years on a big residential buildings, and all the time I was willing to see things from higher perspective, to understand the big pictures. And when I was on one side, I started to realize that I quite often think that this could be done like this, why this is done like this, etc. And then the digitalization of construction industry started to get to the kind of mainstream level where everyone was somehow interested of it. So I decided that that could be my road to give my footprint on the world. So I went to concrete for 5 years, where we rose concrete to the, in one level, most used quality and safety tool in Finland. And after 5 years, I thought that, okay, I need some new challenges, because it was kind of like we were in a good phase in Finland, but I wanted to do something new. So after that, I had a small 2 years period when I did little bit this and little bit that. I worked for my ex-colleague's company, Kahva, where we gave a top-notch logistics service for the construction sites. And there I found out that some of the old problems I faced 2013 still existed. Some of them had solved with the digitalization, but there were these continuous problems. And after that, I was a while engaged in one startup, but now on this autumn, I decided that I will take a leap towards artificial intelligence and how to benefit from it in construction industry and built environment.
Super interesting. So tell me how you actually did get interested in AI and machine learning.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think somehow it combines everything I've always looked after for, because we have lots of engineering knowledge, but the communications sometimes lack. We have different silos. We have cutter patterns that don't go through all the information. And I somehow thought that, okay, this can be the communicator, this can be the innovation source, this can make things happen quicker than before. I mean, back in the days, if something was done on 70s by Q in James Bond or in NASA. Then on 2010 it was mainstream. Now it can happen, I don't know, tomorrow, in 2 months or something like that. So I guess the learning curve and the changing curve is good for me. So I remain excited about it. So I guess that was the one key understanding. First they automated the labor work. Now they can automate the, how you say, dull tasks and make people more productive.
Great. So yeah, you just really recently founded Ailene.ai.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I guess I found that that might be the only way to dig deep enough to AI stuff, because I don't have a background of IT. I've always checked about things from on the windshield, how different kind of technologies can affect the world we see. Let's put it that way. So I thought that if I have a work for 160 hours a month, family, own hobbies and everything, I don't have time enough to really digest all the new stuff that is coming. So I decided that now is my chance to do this. If I don't do it, I will regret it later. So now we are just finding our way and our position on this industry and helping and built environment companies to get more advanced from it. So how we position ourselves, I'd say that it's still ongoing process with the market study and everything. But the more and more I talk with people, I understand that there's a huge gap between the strong hype that, of course, is for reasons ongoing. I believe this might be the biggest change of some level human history. But same time, there's so many solutions that do something somewhere, but it's kind of like point solutions there and there. We try to do something that will ease up the smaller companies' path with this. So make it so easy that they don't need to hire IT person, they don't need to have IT team, they don't have to need 300 workers to get the Microsoft Copilot going on. So we want to make it somehow so easy to use that it's like opening Spotify and starting to listen music. And with this, we have now decided that we will launch our first product during the first half of 2024. And we are still looking for some pilot customers there. So if you are in a built environment, you have a problem you want to solve it, please contact us and we'll sort it out.
But you're still focusing on the built environment sector, or
yeah,
in general?
I'm quite sure that is our main core, because we have experience from that. In a long run, I think some of the solutions should be quite easily to taken elsewhere as well. But I think there's enough problems to solve, so we can start from it.
Yeah, definitely we kind of see already approaches from more general side that has applicability in the built environment sector, and then more focused on the built environment side, where then you really need to have that expertise, and the application is kind of built environment specific.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that culture of construction industry is a little bit that it's more that companies wait that someone will come and explain what to do, instead of really continuously searching everything. And I think that when we want to get better with construction quality, safety, with CO2 stuff and so on, the main key is that the smaller and smaller companies have a chance to make an impact, even the smallest ones. So I guess there's some work to do for a couple of years, I hope so.
Hope so too. So yeah, you mentioned this kind of fast-paced development, that it's kind of almost impossible to even keep track and manage that. But how do you see the future now unfolding from now on, for you and for the industry in general? What kind of opportunities do you see there, and how should we kind of embrace this golden era?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess that every time when you see the new tool, take that in use in the whole corporation. No, people should be curious. I mean, whether you are a worker, whether you are CEO, whether you are someone who's paid for just checking this. It's good that we test them, we play with them, we learn from them, and at the same time try to memorize why we are testing them. I mean, it's nice to make nice drawings, etc., and have a good laugh, but that doesn't alone solve a problem or something like that. So that should be kept in mind. I think that, well, let's say concrete elements, they will be still done. There will be building, there will be people who work there on their sleeves on the dark day and putting the renovations to the new level. Where I would think it could change the game, one would be the total new inventions in kind of like physics and chemistry. If you can run 10,000 different combination, we might get more benefits from, let's say, how you turn light to electricity or something like that. I think there's one key. Another key element is that Andrew Ng, who is a Stanford professor with AI and stuff like that, said that back in the days you needed $100 million problem to make it worth to build the software for it. Now it might be 5 million. So I would hope that even more people who can somehow impact of the quality, safety, economy, and the environmental stuff of build environment could be easily get the important info, what they can do. And in the best case scenario, they will earn money with it and make the world better. So, and also with the translation of the language, I think in EU level nowadays we talk a lot about integration and problems of that. This could be the, not saying the silver bullet, but the big player. If everyone starts to talk to everyone, despite they don't talk same language, I mean, what could go wrong in the end? And so I think the biggest changes will be in the communication when someone invents the solutions that will help the whole process. Maybe take the air off the schedules and so on. I mean, it's hard to answer shortly because the chances are endless.
Super. Thank you so much for coming as
Thank you.
guest today, Oskar, and we'll continue with you a bit later on.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, our final guest today is Jussi Virnala from Metroc. Welcome, Jussi.
Hello, thank you.
So Metroc is probably, we could call you a scale-up already.
I wouldn't say so. It's usually like a 3 million revenue threshold
Okay,
for scale up.
so not yet, not yet. But Metroc has been around for a while already, and so tell us a little bit, how did you get started and what's your vision?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a CEO and founder of Metroc, and basically my background is in usually I'm described that I'm a hybrid person with like a business degree, but then I had a computer science as my major, and then always like really enthusiastic on like learning like how things work. And my father is entrepreneur, my brother as well, and then it was finally my time to do it as well. But then before that, I was doing for 1 year like mobile phone designing at Nokia, and then 3 years SaaS sales before finding Metroc, which I founded 4 years ago. And so basically I bootstrapped the company 4 years ago once I got to know like the construction and manufacturing industries, and as there doesn't exist like such a service like to find information about the market, that what's happening there, because basically it's a project business and there's happening like so much all the time. And then if you think about like there's like some basic like a residential project, there are always like 50 companies like involved in the project. Like there are so many players and so many things happening in the market that there must be like an easier way to find the information. So that's basically what we do. So our vision is like to gather all the information which is publicly available related to the built environment, and then make it easily accessible for the people.
Super interesting. We actually have mentioned you in the previous episodes with kind of the story of you teaching your language model with prisoners in Finland. So how and why have you actually utilized AI within your solution?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we use AI, or like machine learning to analyze and interpret like a big amount of text material. And as we are operating in Finland and Sweden, so we need to have like a machine learning models that can interpret Finnish language. And 2 years ago, we started to develop it, and then we like got to know like a different kind of like ML models and large language models, and then we found out that there are many like models like for English language, but not for the Finnish language. So that's why like we need to be a bit more like innovative kind of. And as 2014, I was a summer trainee at Ministry of Justice, and then I knew that criminal sanctions agency in Finland, that the prisoners, they do a lot of like metal work and wood work, and then in the past years they have like a lot of like smart prison projects, and the prisoners have even like learned AI there. So they have studied courses about AI. And then there's another company which also had like a similar kind of project, like teaching like their own language models. So that's how like I contact like a criminal sanctions agency, and we started the partnership with them.
That is super interesting. What has been so far the most difficult thing during your journey and developing Metroc?
Of course, okay, that's a much wider question, like building a company and building a product, etc., and building a team, etc., and like figuring out different ways there. But if we think about like just the AI context here, like I would say like as first like you know nothing about it, and then you understand the complexity of it, and then I have like a kind of half technical background and not fully. I'm not a software developer, and then trying to figure it out. But I would say the the most difficult thing has been like to develop all the internal tools in order to develop your own like ML models. That has been the toughest part, I would say.
It's interesting. How do you see the future potential heading towards your vision and kind of utilizing AI for the industry, real estate and construction? How do you see the future?
Like as the previous speakers has also said that it's like a really revolutionary like technology, and also I was refer to like Bill Gates as he wrote in March to his blog that like after geographical user interface in the 80s, like now this ChatGPT like it's really like a unbelievable technology, and as Josip said that we still like we can't grasp it that what's coming in a year. It develops so fast. But if we think about like what is the nature of like machine learning and the whole AI tech, is that it can like it can run like a huge amount of data, and usually the data is in numerical or like a text format. So basically, it can like calculate really fast. It can produce text. It can like read text for like really big amounts. So of course, like those make it possible that where can you have the use cases, and then you just need to go like back to the user and try to like figure out the problems like where to resolve. But basically, as now we have a kind of like a so unbelievable technology that we are like so crazy about like finding different use cases. Like where can we use this? So I would say like it's limitless like amount of opportunities there.
Sounds good. Thank you for coming as one of the guests. We will shortly continue with on the AI story and looking at a bit more detail. What is Metroc all about?
Thank you for the invitation.
All right, welcome back, and we have the AI story now with Metroc, and let's dive a bit deeper into your solution. So Jussi, tell us a bit more what Metroc is all about.
Sure, like here's like a leader presentation, 5 or 6 slides about our company and what do we do and how do we see it. AI technology. But first, like a couple of facts about us. So we say that we are developing a construction market data platform. And so I found the company 4 years ago. We have a team of 18 people at the moment, 15 in Helsinki and 3 people in at Stockholm office. And they're also about some financials. So basically we bootstrap it without funding, then we were profitable, and then we got the angels on board. And last year we had a close to 800,000 K in revenue, and then also just recently, a couple of months ago, we raised our first VC round. So basically, we are providing like a market data for construction companies. Our customers are typically like contractors, material suppliers, designers, energy providers, and so on. So many kind of use cases. So basically, with our solution, we try to answer the question that what is happening in the construction market. And basically, we gather information from public internet, and then we also have data agreements with different government authorities. So basically, we provide information about construction projects, public tenders, property transactions, property reservations, city plans, if there's like a change to the zoning area, etc. You just name it, like what kind of event, any kind of. And then of course we have integrations to other systems, so the customers can take the information into their own like CRM or platforms. So basically the most common use case is like basically getting sales leads that were like new project opportunities or potential customers in the market. And here's very simple drawing, like how do we use machine learning? So here's an example that in the beginning we have public documents from the municipalities. So because the land usage is regulated, so that always when you build something, the municipalities need to approve your building project. Like for example, like a building permits, for example. And then we take the text data into our large language models, where we do 2 different things. First is like a classification. So we classify all the projects there. What is the project stage? Identify different details there. And then second thing is name entity recognition, where we basically identify all the companies and name of places, addresses, etc. So quite simple at the end. And so there's the outcome of example, like, so first of all, we have a project type, new building, project class, it's a residential building, project stage, it's a building permit approved or applied, and companies involved or applying the permit there. And then we have the location of the project in the map view. So this is the product and the solution we are developing at Metroc. And then also I wanted to share you like a couple of like our learnings, as we've been now developing machine learning for 2 years, and it's been a bumpy road so far, a lot of learnings. So first thing is, of course, like start always with the problem statement. Like either you develop it for your company's like internal purpose or like for external, like paying customers. And then second thing, like I really recommend to try lighter solutions to test your hypothesis. Like we kind of did the mistake that we moved directly to the like really heavy solutions like large language models. And like now, for example, of course, GPT and other stuff, like there are lots of like easier ways to do it. And then third learning, like our biggest job was to develop internal tools, as there are a lot of stuff available on the internet. Like there are different kind of ML tools, there are different kind of like data sets, like in order to build like ML models, or in order to build like a traditional software, and so on. So I would say that that's maybe surprised at least us in the journey. And then last learning that it's never completed. It's an endless work, as like there's always like a new data coming, like to your model that needs to analyze it, and then of course like you need to understand the nature of the machine learning like models, that like it's always like a estimation of something, so it's like almost impossible like to reach like a 100% accuracy with your models. But these are basically our thoughts and like a short story about us with Metroc and with AI.
Thank you, Jussi, for sharing your really nice learnings, and definitely from those you can see that it's not kind of easy path to start developing a solution like this, and you really have to go through a lot of work, and that already is kind of the building a competitive advantage in a sense to be able to go through these steps. So it's not definitely easy for just anyone to come and start competing immediately with your solution either.
Yeah, but of course, like I would say the best like a way to maybe like to understand the value of the machine learning, that if you compare like a Google and ChatGPT, so that's the most simple like a comparison you can make.
I want to ask one more question about kind of the business model and SaaS business. You mentioned that you have kind of background in that from different industries, and how easy was it to develop SaaS business model for the construction sector, or the customers ready for that, and did you go through some iterations on the business model?
Yeah, actually, we started the company in August 2019, and after 4 months, we had a MSP version of the product and closed the first customer. But yeah, my background is from the B2B SaaS world, so that's kind of my homeland. I would say I know that quite well, and but also like that's quite common for the consumers and for the B2B people also to purchase like software services. So, and we also did it like in quite traditional way. It's no need to invent the wheel again. Like it's just basic, like a different like pricing factors that SaaS products usually has, and give like a different options to the customer. They can choose something there, and so on. But yeah, I haven't felt any kind of like difficulties there. But then if you would ask about like how to like productize your product idea or your technology, that's like a tricky one.
Thank you for being also our AI story today. We will continue with all the guests soon with the question of the day. All right, welcome back. And it's time for the question of the day from the audience. And today the question is actually from William Saunders from Vertex, who happens to be here on site in the audience today. And he will actually win a ticket to the WDB Summit next year, World of Digital Built Environment, in September 2024. Congrats, William. And the question is, I need this actually. Oh, sorry about that. Question is, so what are the main barriers to adoption of AI by customers? And we asked the question from ChatGPT, and here is the answer. So the adoption of artificial intelligence by customers can face various barriers, and these barriers can vary across different industries and contexts. Here are some of the main barriers to the adoption of AI by customers. Lack of understanding and awareness. A couple of mentions on technical complexity and limited awareness. Cost of implementation, high initial costs or maintenance cost. Data privacy and security concerns, privacy issues, security risks, ethical considerations, bias and fairness, and transparency, integration challenges on compatibility issues and skill gaps, regulatory and legal issues, uncertain regulatory environment, liability concerns, resistance to change, on culture and organizational resistance, and limited use cases, so perceived irrelevance. Overcoming these barriers requires addressing technical, ethical, and social considerations, along with promoting awareness and education about the benefits and responsible use of AI. As the technology matures and becomes more accessible, some of these barriers may naturally diminish. So that's what ChatGPT answered. What do you guys think? Have you kind of have this kind of resistance from your customers or seen this around you? Who wants to start? Yes.
So, as mentioned as well before, even the smallest changes in the built environment and the management style are going through a lot of resistance. And often we're picking up as well now data that is going to generate new information for the project and enlighten and give us the situational awareness that we talk about all the time. But then all of a sudden, the elephant in the room has a name, and you have to talk about the issues. And that's something that is often like perceived as calling out or maybe not very positive. But on the long run, and in my experience from the past, people, especially in the higher level of management, recognized that it's better to know than not to know what's going on. So it's a lot of change that has to happen, and it has to be as well accepted in many different levels.
Any additions to that, Oskar or Jussi?
Yeah, that's a good question and a good example you described. I think there might be many reasons for that, but I guess a couple of intakes you can take is one is that when we are dealt with industry that we don't always have the same systematic approach. We don't always have the data of the actions. We have, of course, very labor-focused industry because we actually do something that everyone can see and it's physical also. So compared to some, I don't know, top-notch modern marketing agency, I think it's quite obvious that I hope they use it every day in their life. But the barrier on construction industry is probably something that, okay, yeah, we have engineers who are very tech focused. And then on the other hand, we have people and providers who have been following the development of AI, let's say 10 years or something else. And they are very inside the fact they know its numbers, vectors, and everything like that. There's quite big gap of understanding between. So I guess we need lots of translators who can be somewhere in between. And also maybe the culture of buying solutions that makes you to think what it could be used for and get the information by yourself from the internet, which is quite obvious for the coders and stuff like that. And maybe, let's say, new generation people. So with combination of that, I guess there's thousands or 10,000 people and small company who would definitely want to take advantage of AI, but they might be quite puzzled, even overwhelmed, and a little bit upset with all the fuss that they don't get the kind of grip on. So I guess, once again, the big companies will invest it, they will check it out, and step by step, there's more and more small companies will adapt to things. Yeah.
Thank you, Oskar. Jussi, have you faced some of these barriers or maybe some other barriers with your customers kind of relating to AI that's part of your product service?
Honestly, I haven't faced any kind of barriers from the people we face, like for example, potential employees, potential customers, etc. But I would say, of course, like people can easily be like skeptical against like a new technology, but they're also like, in the other hand, like people have been like engaged and using like products with AI, and they haven't known that they also have AI inside them, like for example Spotify or Netflix, etc.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. It's been a lot of, or at least some discussion with some of the tech companies for the built environment sector, that should they actually mention that they're utilizing AI or not, and have it as kind of a thing in their marketing or even branding. Sometimes it can be viewed as a positive thing for certain customer groups, and sometimes it can be viewed as a negative thing in certain customer groups. So how do you see this?
I think that at least in Europe, like it's really good thing that there's coming regulation around the topic, and like there are different kind of levels, like what kind of audits you need to do your technology, and then the lowest level is, for example, that you need to inform the user that there's like AI included to the technology.
Good point, Oskar.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of important to try to find a complete solution. So from end to end, something will happen, because I guess the different kind of solution that solve one point but doesn't really create something next level, they might be less interesting within the customers. So for example, you offer quite concrete thing to reach and find the right persons and companies to contact. But then what we have had, I think, all the time when construction digitalization has gone forward, we have lots of like punctual solutions, but still in the meantime, the productivity hasn't increased in 50 years. And I guess there's the challenge. There's the solution also. How can you do it so that it's not just me that, hey, now I got these things done 1.5 minutes quicker. So what? I mean, how we do the big changes, that's the interesting part. And I think there we as providers need to really eat those ideas and give them in very concrete, instead of just showing the whole AI, figure it out by yourself thing. So I guess there's the challenge to find the real benefit solutions.
Super, Josip.
I would just add to, it's like very valid points from both. I would just add to it that I hope that in the future, AI would just be seen as another tool. It's not going to be hyped. It's not going to be anything special. It's not going to be something that you have to put on your flag. Hey, I do AI. That's why I'm great. It's just another tool. It's just another tool, and we want to increase, as you mentioned, the productivity and as well the safety in the built environment, and with that as well have an impact on some other parts that are maybe embodied carbon emissions through this increased productivity that decrease with that, and other aspects that can be as well social, economical. So we're going further from that. So that's the hope for the future.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, even last week at Slush, there was a lot of discussion around this topic in a way that nowadays a lot of companies can kind of market themselves as AI companies, or we're utilizing AI within our solution. But if you compare it to like 90s and internet boom, how many companies were saying that we're an internet company? not that many actually. But I mean, it's kind of the interesting dynamics on these curves and phenomena. We are running soon out of time, so let's have a kind of a one thought from each of you as guests. Kind of what would you want to have as key takeaway for our viewers from today's session?
Sure, thanks. I was thinking that I think now it's time when in Finland we shouldn't be too modest. Is it Nokia legacy or something else? There's heaps amount of data from construction environment. We have lots of IT professionals, very good engineers here. Now we are doing, not we are doing, but Silo AI and University of Turku is doing this European language model and stuff like that. I would really hope that Finland would be in 2 years known as the pioneer and front goer in Europe's AI, especially with communications and language stuff, because I think we can do it. We should be much bigger than we are based on population in Europe AI scene. And what we need is we need companies, we need individuals, we need different kind of programs, but we really should test, do, not just plan in the workshops for 6 months and see that, okay, world went over, let's try something new. So, okay, I'm not the person to decide it, but I hope like they have these math solutions where someone is paid 1 million if they solve some infinite math problem. I would hope to see that there would be big money competitions who would have the best way to do something with integration, language problems, with some CO2 stuff, environmental stuff. I think the more money someone somewhere can invest to it, the better triers will apply. And I guess they're the companies and the universities and everyone is somehow, you all can do something about it.
I would just encourage, like you said as well, anybody. Why not? Why not develop something new? Why not be innovative and why not bring a change to an industry? If we talk now about the built environment, it's possible. There is an ecosystem for it. Yes, it is connected to tough work and a lot of hours and headaches and everything possible, but the end vision is the one that pays it off then.
Thanks. Jussi.
Yeah, I can say like definitely the same thing as Josip before, that they just one of the technologies, but of course like we are now talking about like a really like a powerful technology. But then also in the other hand, like our customers, like I don't know, like how does like every each of our customer like do know that we have like such a AI inside the software product there, and like for instance, like we have the oldest user I know is like more than 70 years old, and he is one of the most active users we have with the service. And so in other words, the AI can just make the product like so much greater than it can be created without AI. So it's just a tool like getting like a better products, increasing the productivity, resolving different kind of problems we can never find.
All right. Thank you all for coming as guests today. And there's a lot of new solutions cooking with Ailene.ai and also with Josip's one. And there's already Metroc's service available. Go check it out. And thank you all for watching today's talk show. More info about FAIR can be found at www.fairedih.fi. And see you next time on February 26th next year when we have the next episode coming. Bye-bye.